Who knows when the Steam machine is coming, but right now, I've got the Steam controller and I absolutely cannot wait to open this thing and try it out. Your games, right at your fingertips. It's in a pretty neat little packaging, to be honest. This is actually a nice little box here, flips open. It tells me plugs in. It's got a cable, all kind of stuff that you probably are just gonna figure out if you game and you use a controller. We've got our USB-A to USB-C cable. It's got a USB-C connector up at the top here, like basically every other peripheral these days. And this is probably 5.5, something like that. So I would like something a little longer, but that's okay because the wireless on this is actually pretty decent. We did test it and I'll get to that later. But what I'm really curious about first is the puck. This is, in my opinion, the best thing to happen to controllers in quite some time, because what you do is you plug it in here, and then with this connected to your computer, if you want to charge your controller, boom, you're plugged in and charging now. Fucking awesome. That was so satisfying too. But the really cool thing is this acts as your wireless dongle. So you don't have to plug in a separate dongle when you have your controller. You can just have this guy plugged in and then, oh, I want to go wired. Okay, sure, boom. And then you just plug the dongle back in, like do whatever you want. Okay, let's check out the actual controller, because I love the idea of the original Steam controller. The trackpads were a great touch, but then, I don't know, they released it too early. But now, with Gen 2, I think they've basically fixed everything. First of all, I will say on the bottom, you've got 4 extra buttons, and so we'll get to price later, but I do want to say that while I think it's a really expensive controller, considering it kind of goes up against like a Xbox Elite controller, the price is reasonable. But yeah, we've got, you know, your standard face buttons, D-pad, 2 thumbsticks, not offset. So if you prefer a PlayStation controller, then you probably will prefer this. If you really need that like offset thumbstick that the Xbox controller typically has, this might not be the controller for you. But hey, maybe instead of the right thumbstick, you just use the trackpad. Traditional hamburger button, looks like a screen share back button or whatever, and then something in the middle that I'll find out later. And then I love the little Steam icon to turn it on. Oh, that was great. I didn't expect it to turn on. Made a nice little noise. I love the blue light. It does support Bluetooth. I wouldn't really use that if you can avoid it, especially because it comes with this nice dongle. That's 2.4 gigahertz and also supports wired mode, obviously. Aside from that, we've also got, there's allegedly, I mean, I can't really see them, but there is apparently grip control for gyro controls. I was expecting like a strip of rubber or something that you could maybe pressure sense, but maybe it's directly baked into the controller, like into the plastic here. I don't know how. As for just like the feel and shape and holding it in my hand, I'm a big DualSense and PlayStation controller guy. I don't have the biggest hands. I have some complaints about Xbox triggers that I'll get to later. This feels very comfortable. It honestly kind of fits my hands like perfectly. Even the paddle buttons, like my fingers are resting on them basically perfectly. I don't use those personally, but they're definitely accessible and you get 4 of them, like right out of the gate. So that's awesome. One of the best features about the whole controller that a lot of you are gonna love, these sticks aren't Hall effect. Instead, they're TMR, which is kind of just better Hall effect essentially. And yeah, you shouldn't have to suffer from too much stick drift because they're magnetic. But yeah, great technology, love to see it here. It's typically more expensive than Hall effect, and that's probably part of what's raising the price on this controller so much. But as for like just materials, I will say the plastic overall feels a little cheap. There's something about it that just doesn't feel quite as premium as like the DualSense controller does, or even the Xbox controller. It might also be the weight distribution. It feels funny having this giant front here with the trackpads, but then it doesn't, like it feels hollow or empty right here, whereas this like feels nice and solid all the way through the rest of the controller. But you know, it's not that big of a deal. It weighs about 292 grams, which puts it on the little, ever so slightly heavier than like an Xbox or a PS5 controller. Discernible, probably not. I don't know if I can feel 10 grams, and I used to like weigh meat at a deli. As for the feel of the thumbsticks, they feel good. I've been using the Switch 2 Pro controller quite a bit recently, and that is like, when it comes to fit and finish and overall quality feel and the thumbsticks and everything, that one is like kind of unmatched. But they feel pretty good, and they don't feel grindy, you know, they don't feel like I'm wearing them down super fast. The tension feels good too. It's not too tight, not too loose, not adjustable like we've seen on some of the nice controllers from third parties recently, but you know, I've never been one to tinker too much with stuff like that. The shoulder buttons, these feel pretty good. I like these a lot more than the bumpers on an Xbox controller. They feel more like a PS5 DualSense. And then the triggers, also more like a DualSense than an Xbox. Probably the best thing in terms of just comfort for using shoulder buttons. I've been playing a lot of Neo 3 and I'm blocking and parrying a lot. Like, I'm using the shoulders a lot. And the problem with an Xbox controller is these ridges. So the way my hand fits in a controller like this, if I'm using these guys, all of a sudden, the edge of my finger is up against this kind of hard edge here. And I notice that after a while, my fingers start to even slip up past this ridge and it becomes really uncomfortable to the point where I take a break just because my fingers are starting to get a little worn out from this edge up here, this lip. But with this, it's nice and smoothed. It's a fully rounded edge over here. And there's also not a break in the plastic to dig into your skin.
5 minutes later.
My middle finger is starting to naturally rest up in this spot here. That might be a deal breaker for me.
The triggers themselves, they are okay. I'm not gonna go and say they're like amazing or anything. I do kind of miss the textured grip that now comes on an Xbox controller. I think that feels a little better and not more premium, but just grippy, right? Like with this, sure, they're curved, so chances are low that my fingers are gonna slip off, but hey, you're getting sweaty, it could happen. That just kind of sounds and feels cheap, I won't lie. That's also just a mechanical keyboard guy sitting there complaining about, you know, how a Switch feels, but yeah, take that as you will. This, like, imagine if you're in a room. This just sounds and feels better. I won't lie to you guys. But I would trade the noise of this for the overall ergonomics of the Xbox controller in a heartbeat. I would take this so fast. The face buttons, these feel okay. They're not too wobbly or wiggly. There's like just enough travel. They're satisfying. I'm also just noticing like how much smaller these buttons are. It's hard to see on camera, but in person, this looks like noticeably smaller. Oh, it's so much better. To be fair, this probably isn't super new, whereas this is like a brand new fresh Steam controller. So these are probably just loosened up over time as well, but like, oh yeah, I really prefer these. That feels nice and tight, nice and quiet too, whereas this like, that feels and sounds like an Xbox controller. Which I will say, even though I'm a PlayStation guy, I actually do love the like more circular D-pad on the Xbox, just in terms of feel, but in terms of actually like pressing individual buttons. Ooh, this actually, shit, that feels good. It's really stiff, and I actually want that in a D-pad. It feels really like tactile, and I know exactly when I'm pressing it. And then yeah, the silence of it is fantastic. And it moves, yeah, I don't know if the moving around is like a good thing or not. It feels fine. It's super quiet, so you don't have to worry about waking up someone in the room if you're gaming and you know your partner is trying to sleep or whatever. How do the clicks? Feels pretty normal. It's funny how much I can feel when I click the thumbstick in on this. It's funny how much I notice it down in like the stem of the controller, whereas with this, it feels all centered right around here. It looks so chunky, and I think it's just because of the trackpads. These are like pressure sensitive. You might not, it might be hard to see on camera, but you can move and press these a little bit, but they are pretty stiff. They're also not huge, but I'm excited because like especially as I get older and I wanna like lean back in the chair more, and I'm not playing as many competitive shooters, I want a controller that kind of does it all. And with the trackpads, you know, if I'm playing like Civ for a while, I don't have to swap to mouse and keyboard. And then, you know, I'm in Steam Big Picture mode and I go to like Neo and all of a sudden I've got like a full proper controller. Like, or if you don't like Big Picture mode, now you don't have to use it because you can control your mouse with one of these guys. It really, you know, the future kind of is now. And I love this thing. I haven't even used it in game, but I can already tell you that I wish the plastic felt more premium, 100%, but like, they did a really good job actually in terms of just feel and comfort and ergonomics. Again, hand size is so big of a game changer when it comes to controllers. I know people with big hands that really prefer the Xbox. I know people that prefer the Duke of all things just because their mitts are so big, but like, this feels like it's right in between a PS5 and an Xbox controller, and I'm really I'm really all about that, actually. But enough about the controller itself. We've got a game on this thing to see if it's actually responsive and feels good to play games on. But I can't do that until I tell you about our sponsor.
Dbrand has some pretty cool stuff coming out for the Steam Machine and of course the Steam Controller. They've really gone above and beyond, this time proving you don't need friends if you have Dbrand stickers. Your controller's gonna light up your room with the immaculate glow circuit skin. And when you finally get your hands on that Steam Machine, you're gonna wanna slap on one of Dbrand's recently revealed companion cubes on it. They are freaking sweet. Editor, please show how cool this thing is on screen. Now show how cool I am over here. See, no friends, just cube. Well, this ad read was a triumph. Huge success. Head on over to dbrand.com/Valve and let Dbrand know that you're just as excited about their stickers as you are about Half-Life 2 Episode 3. It's just Half-Life 3 at this point, okay? It's just Half-Life 3.
Any technical difficulties, you know, we've got this pretty early. I'm sure Valve will have it all sorted out by the time it launches. Currently, we're having a little trouble getting our puck to connect wirelessly, so we're just gonna stay plugged in. I will say, now that I'm using the triggers a bit more, ooh, that's registering something. Yeah, there's haptic feedback on the trackpads. I don't know why it's giving me haptic feedback. I'm not doing anything, I'm just compiling shaders, but you can hear it too. It's like a squeak noise. It's actually slightly annoying if I press it by mistake and then it starts vibrating. But I guess that's also telling me, hey, you're touching the trackpad, so maybe it's a good thing. Oh yeah, that D-pad, that feels satisfying. Navigating menus has never felt so good. I will say, I kind of wish that the thumbsticks were a little bit lower. I do have slightly small hands and it's not the end of the world. I think I still prefer this over an Xbox controller. But I do think I prefer my thumbs more like around here, like on a DualSense. But, you know, how else are they gonna fit the trackpad in there? So you're giving up something. Oh, there goes the trackpad, baby. Maybe I don't use the thumbsticks. Well, nope, because this is D-pad. This is definitely D-pad, but this is camera. So that's cool. A great thing though about this is you can customize basically everything. You can remap the buttons to just about whatever you want. So I'll never say no to that. I never remap anything, but I loved having the option to it. It's like getting invited to parties, you know? I don't want to go, I just want to get invited. Another really minor thing, well, actually, I don't know if this is minor. This might be an issue for me. I mentioned how my middle finger gets tired on an Xbox controller around that ridge. With this, I don't get tired. However, my middle finger is starting to naturally rest up in this spot here, and when I press the trigger, it's sometimes touching my middle finger. And every now and then, it moves up just enough that it like almost, it doesn't pinch it to the point where it hurts, but I feel like, yeah, I feel that. And I don't ever get that with the DualSense. Or an Xbox controller, to be fair. As much as I dislike that, I've never like touched my middle finger with the trigger. So that's tough. I don't know how much I hate or don't hate that. This is one of those times where I'd really prefer to like rent a controller for a week, see how it is, and then decide if I want to buy it or not. But hey, I guess that's why you're here watching this video. But yeah, what I wanted to do though was use a bunch of my ninja skills and hit these face buttons a whole lot more. Chuck, poison shuriken, poison shuriken, poison shuriken. Yeah, you're poisoned now. I'm definitely finding my middle fingers coming up and resting in here more, but it actually on the regular does not feel as uncomfortable and sharp as the Xbox controller does. So, but then, you know, you do that and then you pinch your fingers. That's weird. I've never had that happen to me on any controller in my life. And I guess that's why this lip is so pronounced, is it's to stop you from getting your fingers up there. I was so sold on this controller, just on all the features and like looking at it and pressing the buttons. I love this thing, very comfortable.
They did a really good job. Feel and comfort and ergonomics.
It's crazy how you don't really know until you actually game with something. That might be a deal breaker for me. Let's try another game. It's definitely not the most intuitive gyro system I've ever seen. In theory, you're supposed to be able to like squeeze it or something and then it should work, but we can't seem to get that working right now. So the system, you know, it works. I will say the haptics feel great. Like the haptics on the whole controller as well as the trackpads feel awesome. One thing that I just kind of noticed while waiting for the game to load, the screw holes on the back of the controller, while they're very visible and it's great for right to repair, you feel them. Oh, the other thing we checked out while the game was loading, just to confirm, see how big of a lip there is to prevent you from like moving your finger up into this space? And also, I think it's because this isn't like angled down. So even if my finger's there, it's not pinching. Whereas with this guy, there's just kind of nothing. It just kind of exits up. And then this is so curved down that it could pinch something in between. Yeah, the thumbsticks, like they do feel good. Oh, they do. Nice and slippery, but like the grip feels great. Vibration is solid. I do like that. It really, and even here, I'm not choking up. I don't know, you guys. It might be the kind of thing that you slowly like train yourself to not do, but I think there's a reason why our Xbox controller is built a little different. Same thing with the PS5 DualSense controller. Otherwise, everything feels like it's in a good spot. Can I aim with this? I can. Yeah, you can aim with the trackpad. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but like it's doable. I'm doing it right now. To be fair, I am starting to naturally move my finger back when I go to use the trigger, but like I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to make these like micro adjustments as I use a controller. It should feel like an extension of your hands. And I think Valve is like so close, but I wish they would have done just a bit more testing with this ergonomically. A little disappointed, but you know what I'm not disappointed by? The rest of the performance for this controller, because we did test it in the lab, and the thumbsticks have really good uniformity when you do a perfect circle. So they're fantastic. I can't really complain about the thumbsticks at all. The latency, the polling rate for this guy is about 250 hertz, and Xbox controller is more like 125. So we actually measured really, really good latency, wired, wireless over Bluetooth, and wireless with the dongle. So no matter how you're using it, it's not gonna feel like you're waiting for your inputs to actually take effect on screen. Another great feature is the battery life. It's absolutely phenomenal. Valve rates it at 35 plus hours, and we measured 37.5. And that was with a pretty rudimentary test where we basically just like rubber banded it and we drove a car in donuts. But that's with like rumble, that's with input, very impressive. A hell of a lot better than my DualSense controller or an Xbox controller with a couple of AA batteries in it. However, the battery life does diminish a little bit if you're using this with the Steam frame. So if you're going to play a game, not in VR, but like with a big screen in front of your face, as if you've got the goggles on, you can still use your controller and it'll detect like where you are. If it's doing that, it will chew through the battery life a little faster. We obviously haven't tested that because we don't have a Steam frame. Really solid technologically. This is going to be a wild take. I kind of wish that Valve had teamed up with like Asus or Xbox, or even Sony, to try to figure out how to make the whole controller a little more comfortable. Because it feels great when you're just like holding it and like looking at it and you're like, oh, this is sick. But then as soon as you get into like gamer mode where, you know, you cinch up and you lean a little forward and all of a sudden my fingers are under the triggers. I start to notice the screw holes a lot more. But it's, you know, it's tough because those are trade-offs. Because at the end of the day, you do get a lot of like elite level controller features, like the gyro, the back paddles, trackpads, which like you're not gonna find that on, I don't know, many other controller, if not any. Does any other controller have a trackpad? The DualSense technically has one with that like big bar here, but like, I don't know, I'm not gonna use that all that often. Like this feels good. The trackpad does feel fantastic. The big kicker is the price. It's $100 US. What's worse, we're in Canada land. Normally with conversion, that would be like $139. It's $150. So they're giving us a bit of an extra tax, and that just kind of makes me a little upset as a Canadian. So Valve, you're like so close. Like I love the dongle idea. Like that's a fantastic feature that I literally think everyone should adopt, and I don't even care if it costs money. Like please put that in. The TMR thumbsticks, amazing. Zero complaints. It's so close to greatness, and I think it's gonna be a fantastic controller for a lot of people. But unfortunately for me, I'm really happy I was able to try before I buy, because I don't think this is gonna be my next controller. Stay tuned for when we get the Steam frame or the Steam machine, if those ever come out at this point, because I don't know, Rampocalypse, Ramageddon, whatever you wanna call it, it is really screwing up hardware sales right now in the PC space, and Valve, unfortunately, is not immune to those same issues that everyone else is. So thanks for watching this short circuit about the Steam controller. If you wanna learn a hell of a lot more about it, David's writing a video right now, and they're gonna check it out by comparing it against a lot more controllers than just the Xbox one we had right here, and they'll go a lot more in depth into the testing and technology that's packed within this little guy. See you later.